Hunt the Front announces penalties over the Michael Page-Cory Hedgecock kerfuffle. Pennsylvania tracks back Port Royal over the Taylor Farlling suspension and also ban the driver. Plus a new ride for Jimmy Owens and Tuesday racing results. Let's go. It's Wednesday, July 8th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is DIRTRACKR Daily presented by Kubota Genuine Parts. Real quick before we get started, if you like what we do here 5 days a week, please consider subscribing to the show on YouTube, the podcast places, or like and follow DIRTRACKR on Facebook. It's free to do that everywhere, and it will help keep you in the loop on everything that's going down in dirt racing. You can watch full episodes of the Daily on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and at DIRTRACKR.com. Full show transcripts also available at DIRTRACKR.com/daily. You can read the show there if you would like to do that. We are across 43,000 subscribers right now on YouTube, headed for 44,000. And we're past 42,000 on Facebook. The goal, 50K for both platforms for 2025. We start the show off 2 days in a row with announced penalties for dirt late model racers. Yesterday, it was Port Royal dropping the hammer on Taylor Farlling. And today, we're going to talk about Hunt the Front fining and suspending Michael Page and Cory Hedgecock. Going back to this past weekend's Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series show at Sonoya Raceway in Georgia, Hedgecock and Page clashed on the backstretch after the checkered flag. Page ran into Hedgecock's car, nearly turning it over. And then the two drivers exited their machines and proceeded to have a physical altercation along with several other people that came running over in the infield. Tensions between the two, at least on this night, started in heat races when Page threw an opening lap slider at Hedgecock into turn one for the lead. The slider didn't clear, Hedgecock didn't back out, and the 23 ended up over the cushion, making contact with the wall. Hedgecock then returned the favor, coming to the checkered on the final lap of the night's feature. He ran the slider line into three to get by Page for third, and Page initially tried to keep him pinched down to the bottom. The two drivers, though, drifted all the way to the top, with Page's 18X eventually ending up with two wheels up on the Sonoya concrete. Hedgecock ended up third, with Page dropping to seventh by the checkered flag. And I think everyone in America knew what was coming next after this. The announcement from Hunt the Front says that Page was given multiple warnings on the driver radio to not escalate the situation after the checkered, and that if he did, he'd be disqualified. Obviously, we know Page didn't listen, and he was DQ'd from the event, losing about $2,000 in earnings in the process. After the contact, there was then the altercation between the two drivers, who had both climbed out to then continue the festivities. And like I said, they were also joined by several crew members from the infield. In the aftermath, besides the DQ, Page has been fined $1,000 for fighting and an additional $1,000 for his crew members entering the racetrack and participating in the shenanigans. He's also been suspended from the series for 30 days and placed on probation for the remainder of the season. As Hunt the Front is a dirt car sanctioned series, the suspension and probation also carry over to Dirt Car and World Racing Group events. On the other side, Hedgecock was also fined $1,000 for fining, and he's on probation for the rest of 2025. Page's suspension will really only keep him away from that Duck River event at the start of August. Those two races really the only ones inside that 30-day suspension window. He'd originally been a full-timer with the series, but both he and Sam Seawright dropped off before Lake Cumberland because of some health issues for Seawright's father. No suspension for Hedgecock, along with that third-place finish that does keep him in the hunt for the series title. He trails Jimmy Owens right now by 32 points. I haven't seen any public comments from Page, but after the race on Saturday, Hedgecock did share to social media, quote, 10th to 3rd with HTF last night at Sonoya. Didn't go to jail, did get cuffed. Bubba is my boy now. Had a scuffle. I can fight one, but not 10. I'll wear an ass whooping, and that was, regardless, totally worth it, unquote. I'm sure the Bubba he's referring to there is Bubba Pollard, who owns Sonoya Raceway. And updating yesterday's show where we talked about the Port Royal suspension of Taylor Farlling, other area racetracks will be upholding Port's decision. Besides Port Royal, Farlling is also now barred from Baps Motor Speedway and Clinton County Speedway. Both Pennsylvania tracks announcing yesterday that the ban through the rest of 2025 and for all of 2026 is in place. BAPS General Manager Colton Gauss was quoted as saying, "Our top priority is safety at our speedway, not just for our competitors, but for our fans as well as our employees. We continue to support our fellow speedways and uphold the suspension at BAPS Motor Speedway." And Clinton County's statement said in part, quote, "We stand united with both Port Royal and Babs Motor Speedway in prioritizing safety, sportsmanship, and the integrity of our sport. As such, Clinton County Speedway will also uphold the suspension of Mr. Farlling and oppose the same sanctions. He is hereby banned from all racing activity at Clinton County Speedway for the remainder of the 2025 season and the entirety of the 2026 season," unquote. Farlling had made 2 appearances at BAPS in 2025 that included for the test and tune in March and a 3rd place finish back on April. I don't see where Farlling, though, has made any recent appearances at Clinton County, but that track does run limited late models regularly, so if he was barred from these other tracks, that could have been a place where he could have raced instead. Shifting to a bit of dirt late model team news, Jimmy Owens is slated to run the Southern Nationals coming up with Big Frog Motorsports. The Newport Nightmare is supplementing his schedule with Kohler Motorsports. This is not a team change. Jimmy isn't moving from Kohler to Big Frog. He's just adding in some races with this team. Owens is going to run all 11 races in the Big Frog 58V, with that schedule starting this Friday at Beckley and running through the next few weeks. The finale for the Southern Nationals is July 26th at Tazewell. It's been a solid season so far for the late model veteran with 3 wins. He's leading the Hunt the Front Championship right now. Owens drove the 58V to a 2nd place finish a few weeks ago at East Alabama. Should be a factor for some of these wins with the Southern Nationals. He'll return to the Kohler 20 car to continue that HTF championship chase in early August. In Tuesday racing action, Zack Mitchell went to victory lane for the first time ever with the Summer Nationals. He led all 30 laps at Shady Hill Speedway after starting outside front row. The track did take rubber. Mitchell was able, though, to keep his right rear underneath him for the duration. Trey Mills, Rusty Schlenk were 2nd and 3rd. Pole sitter Colin Shipley was in line for a good finish, but he went from 2nd to 21st in the final running order when he lost a tire late. The night's modified winner was Kurt Spalding, who won with the Tour for the first time in 4 years. He topped Tyler Nicely and Trevor Neville. This final Hell Tour week of 2025 continues tonight with a stop at Montpelier. At Sweet Springs with the USAC National Midgets, it was all Ken and McIntosh last night. He started on the front row with Justin Grant, led all 40 laps en route to his 3rd win of the season and 2nd in a row going back to the BC 39. JG ended up 2nd with Dazen Pursley in 3rd. Grant, though, still comfortably out front in that championship, headed to Mitchell County in Kansas tonight. Closing out today, we are wishing a speedy recovery to sprint car driver Paul Nienhiser. Paul was injured in a crash this past weekend at Benton County Speedway and is currently at the University of Iowa Medical Center with compression fractures to his T3, T4, and T5 vertebrae. According to a social media post made by his wife, Paul crashed out from the lead in that race because of a part failure and went flipping. He's feeling in all of his extremities. That's good to hear, but he is dealing with quite a bit of pain. Paul's a guy who wins a lot in regional sprint car racing, and he was actually a past guest of my interview show. We certainly hope he starts feeling better here soon. That's the Daily Show for today. If you want even more dirt racing content, make sure to follow Dirt Tracker across social media. Wherever you are, so is Dirt Tracker. Just search DIRTRACKR on your favorite platform. We're always posting photos, there's show links, there's short videos, and a whole lot more, so check that out. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday out there. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.